Velocity. The velocity is defined as the rate at which an object changes its position. Velocity is a vector quantity. Its SI unit is meter per second and dimensional formula is LT to the power -1. Velocity can be both positive as well as negative. In other words, we can say that the rate of change of position is known as velocity. Velocity is a vector quantity, so it can be both positive as well as negative. Average velocity. Average velocity is defined as the ratio of displacement delta x that occurs during a particular time interval delta t. So average velocity is defined as V average is equal to delta x over delta t, that is equal to x2 minus x1 over t2 minus t1. In order to explain the velocity and average velocity, what I'm going to do, I'm going to consider an example. So my example is this picture where you can see a man is walking from the locker to his physics lab, and this is the locker and this is the physics lab. When the man started at locker, let the position of the man is x1, which is basically 1 meter mark on the measuring tape, and when the person is at the lab, the position is x2, which is basically 11 meters. Let's suppose that when the man started walking from the locker, the time was t1, which is equal to 3 seconds. By the time the person is at the lab, the time t2 is equal to 8 seconds, which simply means that when the person started walking, the time was 3 seconds. By the time the person was at his destination, the time was 8 seconds. In order to find the average velocity, we need to find the change in position and change in time. So change in position is basically the displacement, and we can write displacement as delta x is equal to x2 minus x1, and as you can see, my x2 is 11 meter and x1 is 1 meter, so we'll write 11 minus 1, and 11 minus 1 is 10. So the change in position is displacement, which is 10 meters. Now we need to find the change in time, and the time changes from 3 seconds to 8 seconds. So the time taken is basically delta t is equal to t2 minus t1, and t2 is 8 and t1 is 3, so we'll write 8 seconds minus 3 seconds, and 8 minus 3 is 5 seconds. So the change in time is 5 seconds. Now let's find the average velocity. So the average velocity is given as V average is equal to delta x over delta t, and my delta x is 10 meters and my delta t is 5 seconds, so we'll write 10 meter over 5 seconds, and 10 over 5 is 2, so my average velocity is 2 meter per second. And this is how we'll find the average velocity.